Blender's Math Magic 1 by Sahil Singh. Hi, glad you could join me. You can cut out any design on the 4 vertical sides, then extrude. Add modifiers, fix it up a bit. But what if you wanted to build vertically? The top face of the cube holds the answer to that. Just like a 3D printer, I started seeing layers stacking together, building objects for me. Strategic subdivisions, selections, and bisected lines prove that I can make any customized grid my heart desires. Rearranging grid structure comes down to subdividing and moving duplicated selections around. I saw the top of a table, Z.4. Its legs must jut out from 4 selections underneath. Negative 0.398 to reach the balcony floor. I then saw a chair. Grid selection elevated Z.2. Rotate the back negative 90 degrees. With Y constrained. Then translate Z.2. Select the legs and rotate negative 45 degrees. With Y constrained. Then translate Z negative 0.06. I tried a different technique next. I call it my recapping technique. I moved the top of the leg caps, extrude the legs down Z negative 0.02. Then I moved the caps back into position. Coplanar linked. Then P1 renamed to chair gives you object chair as a separate object. Now you can move around these objects anywhere you want. Scale them up, translate them in the Z direction to move them up or down, or the X and Y directions. Or you can magnetically link them to any surface you want. Duplicate P1 gave me multiple copies, which can be rotated as shown here in the Z direction. I then added a fence perimeter for the balcony. Deleted some extras and used a nearby piece to recap. It was time to add a roof. Add plane with scale to fit the cube. Subdivide times 2 and translate the left side, Z4, and right side, Z4. Bam, you've got yourself a roof now. Again, I used geometry to determine the exact location for translation. I did the same for the cones. Both fit perfectly and serve as gables. I then decided to build a custom object using primitives. Primitives are your basic objects that come with Blender by default. There we go, a modular fence piece. Joined, separated, and ready for modifiers. Move over heart, I have a new BFF. I added an array modifier to test piece distance, vertical angle, and horizontal angle. I then used duplicate linked to surround the house with the entire fence. It's important to note that arrays are more memory efficient than solid objects. At this point, I have 5 modular pieces. The rest are ghost filler copies. I went ahead and decided to play around with the joints of the array, which introduced me to rigging mechanics. If you look closely, you'll notice that objects can be turned inside out. The dark color represents the inner walls. Here I threw a texture JPEG at the array, then used Smart UV Project. I went with 111. I did the same for the roof. I consider textures.1 to be the best website to get textures from. The website was recently renamed and overhauled with new features, such as previews, tags, and similar items. Plank 17 is the one I chose, and eventually I used that to make a customized wood material. Through my experiments with Blender, I've discovered builds that are unique and 100% customizable, as dictated by my choices. I've learned so much, and now I get to tell the entire world. See you again soon.